Hi, everyone. It's JL Rothstein here, author of the Heaven Sent series. You can check out my book, Atonement, now on Amazon or at my website at jlrothstein.com. And I am joined today by fellow author Anna Mocikat. Welcome to the show, Anna.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. And you have the trailer to your book, Shadow City series, playing behind you, which is super cool as we're watching it. So tell the audience about the series.
So Shadow City is kind of a hybrid between science fiction and fantasy. It's set in a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles, and humanity is almost gone. And to survive, the remaining humans had to make an alliance with very unexpected allies because there is a really, really huge danger coming out of another world trying to destroy everybody. So yeah, it's basically a struggle for survival with a lot of different characters. And book 2 just came out, and it's a trilogy. So yeah, you read it, and I'm very, very happy that you like it.
Yeah, I did. I read it. I read both. I read book 1 and 2, and I loved it. I highly recommend everybody. I've got my reviews that are out there on Amazon if people want to check those out. I was talking to you a little bit before we hit the record button here, and I was saying that it's definitely a thrill ride. Like it's one of those very fast paced books. You're not going to be able to put it down. There's a ton of different characters, and I think there's some things in there for everybody, but also some unexpected things, which are the twists and turns that we all loved to tune into when we're reading fantasy books. So I was very excited about it, and I would definitely recommend it to everybody who's watching. So
Thank you so much. Really, that makes my day. Thanks so much.
well, I'm glad I could make your day. It's the end of the day, so I'm glad I could make your day. And I really appreciate you hopping on and joining me today. So we're going to talk about writing in general, the process of writing, which is what this whole mini series has been about for me. So talk a little bit about what keeps you motivated. You've got a lot of books. You've got a couple series. What keeps you motivated to keep writing?
So actually, exactly something like this. When someone, a reader, gets really excited about one of my books and tells me how much they enjoyed it and what a great time they had reading it. So this is why I write. This is exactly why I write. I don't know. I think the world is sad enough, so I want to create entertainment. And even though my stories are rather dark, but they are still entertaining and are still um, pulling people into other worlds and hopefully make them forget everything else for a couple of hours. And that's what I want, and that's what keeps me going. And when people tell me that they had a great time, then I am super pumped to sit down and keep on writing, because of course we all know, we writers know, sometimes there are days where it's not so good, right? And we
Yeah.
start doubting ourselves and so on. So yeah, my readers are definitely what keep me going.
And do you have a chance to interact with them very much? Do you do that on social media? Or what about in this COVID world? Is that really not happening as much?
In what?
In like today's world where we're all sort of locked down for COVID, like are you mostly dealing with your readers on social media?
Yes, so I'm very active on Twitter, and I
Yep.
also am on Instagram and Facebook and Goodreads. So
All the places you need to be, right? You can't be a
e-
writer with all of these social
exactly.
medias that we have to keep up with. And so how do you balance a little bit with your writing with keeping up with all that social media? That's I know even for myself on the platforms, it's
A very
tough.
good question. Honestly, I spend way too much time on media, and I'm always seeing other authors who seem to be there all the time and produce content, and I always ask myself, how are they? And then they break out 3 books a year, and I ask myself, how are they doing this? I mean, is their time going slower than mine, or do their days have more hours than mine? Do they not sleep? I don't know. For me,
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
kind of a struggle. As much as I enjoy
Yeah.
interacting with other authors or readers, but it is definitely a lot of time. It's really like a time killer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh
social
yeah.
media.
Yeah, I mean, you can forget how long you've been up there. I mean, it happens to me all the time. I mean, I'll be out there and I'll be like, oh, I should really get to going on dinner, and it's 8 o'clock or something. It's gone. An hour gone, 2 hours gone. You can really get sucked into social media, but Twitter in particular. But I'm grateful for Twitter because that's where I met you. So I'm grateful for having met you, and I would have not found your books and would not have read them and loved them so much. So
Oh,
so there's
my.
always there's always
You're
that
so
good part.
you're so kind. But I see it the same, it's really worth it because I met so many
Yeah.
wonderful people. There are so many great authors, so many fantastic books. So for me, it is definitely worth it to spend this time there. So it's maybe a time killer, but it's not a waste of time, in my opinion. And
Right.
what I do is I do all my social media only over my phone. So I'm not distracted on my computer when I work,
Mm,
and I put the phone away when I write. So my
yeah.
writing time is social media free.
Yeah. That's
So
really good advice for anybody who's listening. Put the phone down so that there's no notifications and you're not seeing how many people are looking for you while you're writing. So that is great advice.
yeah, otherwise I wouldn't write. I would be
Oh,
distracted all the
no,
time.
I totally hear you. Or I'd be doing something for work and just feel like I have to stop and look at what's going on. So totally understand. So my next question surrounds music. So a lot of people find that music is a source of inspiration for them, that it's really important to them. So what about you? Do you write when there's music on? Does music affect you in that way when you're writing? Do you actually listen to it when you're writing? How does music affect you?
So music affects me very, very, very much. I have um that's also why I can make my trailers, and people always say, oh, the music you picked is so great. It's because I really can feel the feeling certain music transports, and then I know it fits well to a certain theme or images, and that's how I make my trailers. I usually pick the music first before I even pick the images. So I have a very strong relation to music, even though I'm a visual person. And I always listen to music when I'm writing. So I always have these headphones all day long. So they are really
Yeah.
good and they're really comfortable, and I can have them on for hours. And I usually listen to music. A lot of it is movie or video game
Mhm.
soundtracks. And
Yeah.
my favorite at the moment is the soundtrack of uh, Deus Ex Human Revolution. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's my favorite at the moment. It's a fantastic soundtrack. It's, yeah, more cyberpunk, and since that's my thing I'm working on now, that's what I like listening to.
That's great. And does it change? Do you change the music depending on the scene, or do you go looking for a certain piece of music depending on what you're writing? Or is it sort of like whatever hits you?
Oh, I have a playlist and it's all in there,
Oh,
and
okay.
it just runs through. And sometimes I have certain music pieces I really like listening to, and for certain scenes, like
Yeah.
for action scenes, for example. But usually my playlist is just suitable for any scene.
Yeah, I'm not big on listening to the music while I'm writing, but I know when I'm getting ready to go into like a big fight scene, I do like to get that sort of epic, trailer music, or like you said, video game music, where I'll listen to that a little bit. It sort of gets you hyped up a little bit, and then you sit down and sort of write it. I can't listen to anything that has like lyrics.
Me
That will
neither.
throw me off. That
Mhm,
completely throws me off. All of a sudden, I'm typing the lyrics. I
mhm,
can't, all of a sudden it's making it into the paragraph somehow. So I can't do words, but I do like the
mhm,
more epic side. And some of the
mhm.
recent stuff I was listening to is like a couple of steps from hell, which was like, I think, a video game series of music that's out there, but there's just so much of it out there. You can definitely find something
Oh
that
yeah, there's so much good stuff out there, yeah. But I totally agree. I can't listen to anything with lyrics at all because it will distract me. I will
yeah.
listen to the lyrics, and yeah, absolutely. It must be yeah, a score from a game or a movie.
And do you see Shadow City as a movie? Like, does that play in your head as if it's a movie when you're writing, and that's why you think the music maybe solidifies that a little bit?
Yeah, so I have a very specific way of working. I create a movie in my head and then write the movie down. Originally I learned I went to film school and studied screenwriting. So I'm a professional screenwriter, and that's where my skills are coming from.
Mm,
And when I started writing novels, I used basically the same techniques as I used as a screenwriter. So yeah, I see the movie in my head and then basically translate it into words. And often when I work on a scene, I have like I will always replay it over and over and over
mm,
again in my head. I see it in my head playing. I see the characters talking to each other, and I will replay it until it looks the way I want it to look, and then I will
yeah,
write it down. So I don't write like many that just write whatever comes into
yep.
my head. When I write slow, but when I write it down, it usually will come into the book and won't change much anymore because I have seen it so often in my head.
So you sort of doing the edit in your head. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're playing it over and over again and sort of editing it visually inside before you get it out on paper.
Yes, yes, that's basically what I do. Yeah, I edit in my head and I change the dialogues a little bit, or the scene. I just see the scene in especially the very important ones, the
Yep.
small filling scenes. I
Yeah.
just write them like this, right?
Yeah.
But the really important scenes in a book, I have seen 100 times in my head. I go to bed, and before I sleep, I will rewatch them in my head. And when I wake up, that's the first thing I do. And when I walk my dogs, that's what I do. And when I drive, that's what I do. And I do it all day.
So it never sort of leaves you. It's
No.
always with you then, no matter what you're doing. It's sort of
Yes.
always coming in and replaying until now. Does it leave you once it's on paper? Does your mind sort of say, okay, it's final, it's on paper, you can move on to the next
Hmm.
one? That's
Yes.
amazing. That does well, it's just amazing to see what how other people are doing this, right? People at
Yeah.
home listening might be like, I do that. I didn't think anyone else did that. And I thought I was the only one. So if you're doing it like that, do you actually outline ahead of time, or is it just more like, no, if it's in my head, it's in the book?
So I outline it first on paper. I'm a plotter, so I have the
Okay.
full I had the full trilogy for Shadow City plotted out when I started writing the first
Okay.
book. And I have for Behind Blue Eyes, I don't know how many, at least 5 or 6 books plotted out roughly on paper and in more detail in my head. So
Yeah.
I actually memorize every scene
Oh
uh,
my goodness.
before I write. I know it's strange, and I know it's
Not strange, amazing. Like I could not memorize all of that in my head. There's no way. It's
that's
too
yeah,
much.
that's so, I have it, it works all the time. It's
Yeah.
just swirling around, and it's so that's why I have it. Sometimes little scenes I have to write down so I don't forget. Okay,
Mm,
this information needs to come in there and so on. But the story is set. Yeah.
that's so exciting. And I love that. And I love how it's different, right? Everybody I
Yes.
talk to has a different process. And I think we can all learn little tips and tricks
Oh yeah, yeah.
from those
Everybody is
processes.
different, and that's really fascinating.
Yeah, well, and I think that if you're newer to this or to this business, like I am myself, where this is my first book, I think if you're newer, then all these things help you to sort of navigate this world and figure it out and figure out what's your best process. So for your final question, what's next for you?
So I am about to finish Behind Blue Eyes too. So Behind Blue Eyes, we're seeing Shadow City all the time. That's my one
Yep.
series. Behind Blue Eyes is my cyberpunk series, and I am about to finish the second book for that. I'm very very excited about it because everybody who read the first book is yeah, contact people are contacting me like readers and say, okay, when is the next book coming out?
That
So
feels
I
amazing.
I am really excited about it, and it will be out in spring. and once I finish it, I will immediately start with the final chapter of Shadow City, with the third book. So I'm hoping to bring that one out sometime next year in fall. And this will be the final chapter, and I'm very excited about this one because everything will come together and it will be very dramatic. And it's already said at the end of book two that not everybody will survive the whole story. So it will be a happy ending, kind of, but
Kind of.
bittersweet. So yes, I mean, everybody loves a different character
Yeah.
in Shadow City. I always
Yeah.
ask readers, so who was your favorite
Yeah, so
character, Jen?
Colton, how could it be? I don't know who's not answering that. It's Colton. But yeah,
Yeah,
I can understand that.
most
So
people,
people relate to someone else. I'm sure that
yeah,
there are some people that relate to others.
most
Yeah.
people like Colton. Actually, I was
Yeah.
always thinking he's more boring because he's so perfect, you know. But everybody likes him. He's the kind of guy you want to have as a friend.
Yep.
He will always be at your side. He's almost like a dog, you know. He's so sweet and such a good guy. So yeah, people like good guys. Actually, I noticed that readers
Yeah.
like good guys, but
Yep.
Bombshell is also very popular,
Yeah.
and so that's the two ones that are most popular. However, there are other people who prefer Euridice or Vincent or Eric. So yeah, some of these people will be very sad, and I hope they won't be mad with me. But
Well, no, I think it was Stephen King that said, "Kill your darlings." These are all of our, as a writer, these are all our babies, these are all our darlings, and you should be willing to kill any of them in a book, and that people who
oh,
are
I would
reading
never.
should everybody who's reading should understand that that happens, that people get killed, that authors kill characters in a book, and so yeah, it's not an easy road for us either if somebody doesn't make it. It's not an easy road
Yes.
for the author either.
I don't know how there are authors who really like killing of their characters, and I always wonder why. I mean, I really like them all. I spend so
Yeah.
much time with them.
Yeah.
And but kill your darlings, I can't do that. So there are certain characters I think I couldn't do it. I would mourn and feel horrible, and I can't do it. So um
Yeah.
don't kill your darlings.
I remember the first time hearing that and thinking, I don't know that I could do it, but I understand what he's saying is that, you have to do the drama all the way through, that it has to be like real life. But yeah, that's a piece of advice that we don't, as authors, always have to take. So,
No,
yeah.
no, not every advice. No.
Not every piece of advice. Well, that is very exciting. Like I said, I just read both of them. I recommend them to everybody. Of course, now I have to wait all this time for the third book. I did not have to wait that long to read book number two, but now I'm going to have to wait a while for book number three. But still, very exciting. I hope everybody goes out and checks it out. They're available on Amazon. You can go and find them on Amazon, but obviously you can find Anna on Twitter. Easy enough. Come and find me, and then you'll find Anna because we're always out there together. So yeah, so exciting. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. This was so great. I hope everybody enjoyed it and everybody goes and checks out your books and buys them all.
Thank you so much, really, for your kind words and all your support on Twitter. I really, really appreciate it a lot, and for inviting me here. I mean, I think we had a great chat, and
Yep.
yeah, I'm really excited. So thank you so much, and
Yes.
I wish you all the best with your series. And next book is hopefully coming out soon.
Yes, I hope so. I'm still writing it, but I hope so. But I thank everybody for tuning in and watching, and everybody have a good night. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.